The first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, known as Book 1, Water, was filmed from November 2021 to June 2022 in Vancouver. And hold up, you won't believe this, because there's talk about the possibility of continuing the adventure with a second and third season, titled Book 2, Earth, and Book 3, Fire. But under one condition, and that condition can only be met once ATLA is released on February 22nd, 2024. So, what is that condition thing that will decide Seasons 2 and 3? Well, here's the crazy part. What if I tell you that the filming of Season 2 is ongoing and only in this video can you find the exclusive information about it? Well, if you listen to me until the end, not only will you know that, but you will also discover the Easter egg behind the poster of Lord Ozai, which will set the whole series and fandom on fire. And I promise that you won't believe it. Keep watching. It's official. Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 2 is happening. The crazy news about Season 2. Recently, Albert Kim spilled some golden beans on how our favorite characters are growing up and what the deal is with Season 2. So first, they made it super clear right from the get-go that even though every sign is pointing toward a Season 2, it hasn't been officially confirmed yet. But again, keep watching because later on, we will elaborate on this even more. So yeah, Netflix has everything decked out in Season 1. There's a massive push in marketing, an entire website dedicated to it, and even multiple Instagram channels pumping out daily posts. But despite all this setup and excitement, the official green light for Season 2 hasn't been turned on yet. It kinda hangs in the balance, hinging on how much we, the fans, dig the series. If the vibe isn't right and the fan reception is lukewarm, Season 2 could be a no-go, which is really the only thing standing in its way. Moreover, Albert Kim himself said they're racing to the finish line with the current work and aren't even letting their minds wander to the thought of a tomorrow without having nailed today. Yet, despite this uncertainty, there's a ton of forward thinking going into the making of this epic fantasy drama because of a couple of big reasons. First off, the main actors, our core four, are literally growing before our eyes. Gordon Cormier, our real-life Aang, went from 11 to 14 during the filming. Kyo, who brings Katara to life, aged from 14 to 17. Second, crafting a single season of Avatar isn't exactly a quick spellcast. Season 1 wrapped its filming in British Columbia back in the summer of 2022, and since then, it's been all hands on deck with post-production. And Albert Kim pointed out how in the animated series, the story arcs across essentially 1 year. Mimicking that was out of the question with real actors aging in real time. So the design for Season 1 had to cleverly allow for some time to pass, potentially setting the stage for Season 2. And Sozin's comet, that big fiery signal in the sky that fans of the original series know all too well and newcomers will spot in the trailers, hinting at the ticking clock for our heroes, is part of the plan. Albert Kim said, "We removed that particular ticking clock from our show for now because we couldn't know exactly how old our actors would be for the subsequent seasons." He continued, "We definitely thought about that going into Season 1, so that we could accommodate for puberty, adolescence, time passing, and all of those fun things that happen to real-life human beings that don't happen to animated characters." And I know there are a ton of people who are complaining about almost anything. But let's talk about why this particular adjustment is not just necessary but pretty exciting. First, and again, making Avatar: The Last Airbender takes a lot of time. Imagine trying to fit Aang's whole adventure before the end of summer. That would mean Aang would look like he aged 5 years in just 6 months. It wouldn't match up, right? So for me, it's a relief that they decided to shift gears on this. But to break it down even more why I like Albert Kim's idea, imagine Aang meets Roku, and Roku lays down the heavy news about a comet that could end the world. But the gang didn't know the timing of the comet's arrival. So Aang could be facing this comet tomorrow or years from now, meaning every day is a day to push limits and to train harder. With that being said, imagine the possibilities this opens up. There could be a storyline where the Fire Nation has a method to predict the comet's arrival, but Aang and his team are left in the dark. The thrill of sneaking into the Fire Nation to uncover the secret, the tension of not knowing what's next, it's a roller coaster waiting to happen. And speaking of roller coasters, background music is very important in any film and series, especially to ATLA, because it will bring nostalgia to the maximum level. But no worries, Netflix knew this. That's why they didn't hold back on their budget when it came to hiring a music composer for ATLA. Takeshi Furukawa will compose Netflix's ATLA's music. Takeshi Furukawa, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, is an award-winning composer who will be composing the music for Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series. So, we have perfect casting, perfect VFX, perfect marketing, and a perfect music composer. Everything sounds good to go all out and gain another season. But is Season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender happening right now? The condition that needs to be met in order to make Season 2 and 3 of Avatar: The Last Airbender depends on how many new subscribers the show attracts. If it does well, which I bet my kidney that it will go beyond what's the expectation, the plan is to film the next 2 seasons one after the other. And it's so obvious why Netflix will use this back-to-back filming approach, especially considering the ages of the actors playing Aang and Katara, who will be 14 and 17 by the time filming for Book 2 might start. It's still a question whether the show will adjust the story to match the actors' real ages since, in the original series, everything happens within 1 year, with Aang remaining 12 years old. This wouldn't be the first time Netflix decided to film seasons back-to-back. It's a strategy used for other series like The Witcher, and a series of unfortunate events showing it's a practical approach for series that require consistent aging of its cast or have detailed production needs. And again, the decision to renew the series will not only consider new subscriber numbers, but also how many people watch the entire season. Now, let's talk about the Easter egg in Ozai's poster. More of Dragon and Ozai. If you look at this poster, it's clear why many fans consider this casting choice one of the best. When you see Daniel Dae Kim playing Ozai, there's no doubt that he is a real-life powerful figure who commands attention not only in the show, but also among fans online. Come on! Take a look at his physique. With the muscles and the Giga Chad-like jawline, I am still amazed that the only character in ATLA that is inspired in real life is the Boulder, which is based on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Anyhow, discussions about Ozai's actions and his influence over characters like Zuko are common among fans. This scene, likely set in a different part of his throne room, adds depth to his character. The attention to detail, like this Easter egg, the dragon in the background, and the dragons on his robe can be hints that the live-action version might explore the significance of dragons in Fire Nation culture more than the animated series did. And this brings us to Commander Chow, or Admiral Chow at this point, portrayed just before his arrival at Kyoshi Island. The depiction of the army behind him is so intimidating, and this means he will showcase the overwhelming force he brings to a small village. This scene truly captures Chow's tendency for excess and his irrationality, traits that a lot of fans hope will be portrayed with more depth in the Netflix live-action series. Unlike in the animated series where Chow sometimes feels like a lesser version of Ozai, the live-action offers an opportunity to flesh out his character and Azula. Many fans are wondering, why aren't Azula's flames blue in the new scenes? Some think this means the show won't feature her iconic blue flames. But it's important to remember that in the show, Azula's flames usually turn red after setting something on fire. The only time they didn't was a special scene in the throne room. Another exciting detail is Azula using her famous two-finger firebending pose. Some fans think this means she's about to use lightning bending. Yeah, it's true. Azula often bends fire with just 2 fingers, but the idea of seeing her lightning bend is thrilling. Notably, there's a difference in how firebending is shown here compared to the original series. In the series, Fire Nation benders often bend with closed fists, but now we see more open palm bending. Uncle Iroh. In this scene, we're probably on Zuko's ship. It's interesting to see how Iroh's outfit is changed because in the animated series, it looked more like armor. But now, in the live-action version, he wears something that looks more like royal robes. The background in this scene is also worth mentioning. It's stunning, whether those are real props or digital creations added by the graphic designers. Either way, the attention to detail makes the setting feel so rich and so immersive that captures the true essence of the world we've come to love in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So what do you think about all these new posters? What do you think about the overall casting? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, just like what this fan said. Iroh and Ozai? Perfect casting. Another one added, "This is the first series I've been excited to watch in a while.